It is important for you to understand that if you want to be a successful paralegal, then you are going to have to treat your career as a business. From PetSmart to paralegal, the path to paralegal wasn't always paved with rosy petals. In fact, it was paved with a lot of prickly thorns. But for better or worse, from PetSmart to paralegal, here is how I got there. I get a lot of people who reach out to me and say, Misty, I know that you're a paralegal, but how did you get there? Because I can see this video that you've got out saying that you had no experience going into it. And I just cannot find anyone willing to give me an upper hand. No one is willing to let me get my foot in the door. How do I do it? Okay, here's how you do it. Here's how I did it. I got in on that ground floor. I was working at PetSmart. My only qualifications were the fact that I could communicate, I could talk with people and form perfectly great conversational sentences with no problem. I could answer the phone and I could type at that time probably anywhere from 35 to 40 words per minute. But I started out as a receptionist in a very, very busy personal injury workers' compensation plaintiff firm. Very small, very chaotic, very combative. I mean, it was a crazy sort of situation firm. But what that firm provided me with was a solid foundation of what I could expect going forward in the legal industry. I learned how to handle a very complicated telephone system. I learned how to handle multiple clients working on that telephone system and going between those multiple lines. I learned how to diffuse situations very quickly because the attorney that I was working for didn't have the greatest reputation. Okay. And you may be saying, yeah, I'm working for one of those too. And I don't know why I'm still here, but hang in there if you can, because all that experience will help you down the road. Now, after I was done being receptionist, I moved up to legal assistant, and actually it was in the same law firm because the legal assistant at that law firm had been fired, and that law firm was frankly up creek without a paddle. So I was willing to help them out for very little money, and I was able to move up to that legal assistant role. Now, was I great at it? No. But I worked with the other legal assistants and paralegals that were there at that office. I absorbed every bit of information that they had to give me, any work that they could give me. I asked for help. I looked at them like mentors, almost like coaches. But after I was done at that law firm and being a legal assistant, then I moved on from that role. And I became an office manager of another law firm. And I was the person who was wearing the majority of the hats. Now, when I was in that position of working as office manager, that gave me a very unique perspective on law firm life. I learned how to manage people. I learned how to manage bookkeeping. I learned how to manage office supplies and make sure that we had them. I, learned how to manage a lot of these firm administrative things. But it was great for me to learn along this path to being a paralegal. After I left that law firm and the role of office manager, I went on to be an executive administrative assistant. I was working for two senior partners that had very, very busy schedules. And I was responsible for the billing for those partners and for all of those cases that they were overseeing. And when I was in that role as executive administrative assistant, doing a lot of that billing work, then I got intimately familiar with litigation billing guidelines and what companies were expecting of big defense firms in those litigation billing guidelines. I learned how to really creatively build to get things pushed through to these online companies that are processing those bills for big insurance defense companies. I learned a lot of, the back end accounting, administrative part of things that I'd never been exposed to before, but it really taught me so much in the art of billing. and why it was so incredibly important for paralegals to understand that there were litigation billing guidelines. What was, outlined in those litigation billing guidelines? What was our budget? What were the words that they could stop using that were misconstrued as clerical tasks? So I didn't have to reword them anymore. So those are things that I took well beyond after I left that role as executive administrative assistant and I went into my litigation paralegal role, to which I have to this day. And I have been a litigation paralegal for many, many years. At this point, I love it and I wouldn't have it any other way. Clearly, I'm also a business owner. I am a YouTuber. I'm a blogger. I'm a creator. I'm an innovator. And I'm a nerd. But the path to being paralegal wasn't, immediately being a paralegal. I was exposing myself to the environment first as a receptionist. It was learning and growing in the field. It was having multiple positions within law firms over a good amount of time before I got to that paralegal role. And having all of the positions that I did on the ground level before I got to being a litigation paralegal really helped me get to where I am today, helped me be a great litigation paralegal. I mean, with law, one of the things that it teaches you really is to reshape the way that you think and to start thinking multiple steps ahead, to start, mitigating more and to learn how to close loopholes. It just teaches you a new way of approaching things. I think having all of those different roles and being a receptionist and really learning how to have great communication skills as a result of that, being a legal assistant and learning really what it was like to, be a legal assistant and the differences of being a legal assistant and a paralegal. It was great to go into the billing aspect of things, into office management, and to really see the back end of things that you don't get exposed to usually as a paralegal. And so I think all of those things combined together really made me the paralegal that I am today, really made me the future thinking analytical person that I am today. Really helped to shape me. I learned from all of those positions. I learned from all of those roles. I learned from all of those people that I had worked with. I absorbed so much. And I am the litigation paralegal that I am today because of it. I am the business owner that I am today because of it. And if you are someone who says, I don't have any experience and I still want to get in the door, then get your butt in that door. But you're not going to enter that door as a paralegal. You're not going to enter that door probably as a legal assistant or a legal secretary. Get in as a receptionist, get in as a file clerk, get in on the ground floor, start exposing yourself to the environment, absorb and learn from other people, and grow through that paralegal career of yours. And I guarantee you that all of the work that you will do up to that point should really serve you well by the time you get to that paralegal point. If I go back and really take a look at my career, almost every decision that I made throughout that career was a very calculated decision. There were some decisions that were made for me, don't get me wrong. It is important for you to understand that if you want to be a successful paralegal, then you are going to have to treat your career as a business. Okay. You are the business, you are the brand, you are the service, it is you. So I want you to think about that and I want you to make very calculated decisions in where you're going towards that paralegal career. If you're coming in here without any experience, then expect to enter on the ground floor and work your way up from there. And that's where you just really got to humble yourself and say, I'm ready to just get my foot in the door however I can, and I will build from there. And as long as you are getting in there and kicking butt and taking names, and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and going above and beyond, I mean, be a boundary boss. Well, there are a ton of videos around YouTube talking about that. But if you're ready to get in there and do the job, then they're going to be able to see that. They're going to, want to mold you. They're going to want to groom you to be this amazing paralegal boss that they know you can be, that I know that you can be. The evolution of a paralegal career is not a one size fits all. Everybody's approach to this business is unique. It's up to you how you want to approach it. You can do it through school, or you can get in on the ground floor somewhere else. I mean, again, I started from PetSmart and I went to go be a receptionist at a firm after I waited in a lobby for an hour for an attorney who wasn't even guaranteed to see me. But I wasn't leaving until he did. And thankfully I didn't, and the rest is history. Thank you so much for joining me today. Good luck to you with all that you do, because this crazy legal industry needs an amazing paralegal boss just like you. Have a wonderful day. Have an awesome rest of your week ahead of you. And I will see you guys back here on the next one. Mwah. Bye, guys. Coming up on Full Disclosure Friday,